In a world teeming with voices, each clamoring to be heard, there is a silent power in the one who listens, who absorbs words without the need to react, who stands firm amidst the chaos of opinion. Imagine facing every criticism, every word of disapproval with the unshakable calm of a stone in the storm, poised, centered, unmoved. This is the way of the Stoic. And in a time when reactions rule, the one who masters their emotions and welcomes criticism as a tool for growth is not only rare, but also truly powerful. So we ask ourselves, can we learn to embrace this path? Can we transform criticism from a source of pain to a source of strength? In our quietest moments, we often find our greatest battles are not with the world, but within ourselves. Emotions are potent forces that grip the heart, sway the mind, and cloud our vision. Among them, one of the most insidious is the way we respond to criticism. It has the power to evoke waves of self-doubt, resentment, and insecurity. Yet those who have learned to walk the path of Stoicism know that criticism is but a shadow, a passing cloud. It is not something to be feared or avoided, but an opportunity to exercise resilience, a gift that grants us the power to look within rather than react without. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers and practitioners of Stoicism, once wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." These words, simple yet profound, reveal an elemental truth. Criticism itself holds no power over us. It is our interpretation, our judgment of that criticism, that determines whether it will bring us pain or peace. To the Stoic, criticism is an invitation, a mirror reflecting the inner workings of the mind. And if we accept this, if we stand firm in the face of harsh words, we unlock a deeper sense of freedom and clarity. Epictetus, another master of Stoic wisdom, observed that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Here lies the Stoic's ultimate key to handling criticism with grace and strength. Criticism, after all, is just one of life's many externals, things beyond our control. But the story we tell ourselves, the response we choose, is our own. Let us imagine a moment, one familiar to all of us. We stand before someone who criticizes us, perhaps harshly, perhaps with condescension. Instinctively, a surge of emotion rises within. Our immediate reaction might be to defend ourselves, to lash out, or to withdraw in hurt. Yet, what if, instead of reacting, we paused? What if we held our ground in silence, allowing the waves of emotion to pass without seizing control? In that pause, we find strength. In that silence, we discover clarity. This is the Stoic approach: to welcome criticism, not as an attack, but as an opportunity to examine ourselves and temper our emotions. The wisdom of Seneca, another revered Stoic philosopher, echoes here. He wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." In those brief moments when criticism first hits, we often experience an instinctive flare of anger or defensiveness. But if we can delay, just for a breath, a single heartbeat, we create a space in which we can choose our response. This practice of delay, of letting our first reactions subside before we act, is a powerful tool. It grants us control over our emotions, making them servants rather than masters. This ability to delay is at the heart of emotional intelligence, a concept as valuable today as it was in ancient times. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing or denying our emotions. It is about recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing how we will respond. And what could be a greater test of emotional intelligence than handling criticism with grace? In this, Stoicism becomes our guide, urging us to rise above the instinctive lash of ego and instead listen, not to the words of others, but to the thoughts we entertain about ourselves. To approach criticism as a Stoic is to recognize that it is never the criticism itself that wounds us, but the value we assign to it. Criticism has no inherent weight. It is our reaction that gives it form. And so, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Will we be shaped by others' words, or will we define our own strength? As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. In facing criticism, we are called not to defend or explain ourselves, but simply to be steady, to be unmoved, to be centered in our own purpose. In this way, every criticism becomes an opportunity for self-mastery. Each word of disapproval is a chance to practice our resilience, to refine our sense of self. When we do not react, when we choose instead to reflect, we turn criticism into a tool for growth. We become, in essence, sculptors of our own character. As Epictetus urged, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. In moments of criticism, we are not tasked with justifying or defending who we are, but with becoming who we aspire to be. Consider the metaphor of the warrior. Imagine a silent figure standing still amidst a storm, unaffected by the howling winds and crashing waves. This warrior does not react to the storm, does not rail against it or seek shelter. Instead, they remain calm, rooted, their gaze steady. This is the image of the Stoic in the face of criticism. Strong, silent, unmovable. Criticism may swirl around them, but it does not touch their inner peace. It is a presence that draws strength from within, rather than seeking validation or approval from without. Criticism, in this sense, becomes a teacher, a test of our ability to hold steady amidst life's shifting sands. The Stoics knew that in every challenge lies the potential for growth. When we face criticism without fear, we strip it of its power to wound. We realize that it is not the words of others that define us, but our response to those words. As Aurelius wisely said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Criticism then becomes not a barrier, but a bridge, guiding us toward greater understanding and strength. But to respond to criticism with grace is not to accept every word as truth. The Stoic discerns, separates what is constructive from what is mere noise. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Just as we choose whom to listen to, we also choose which criticisms to internalize and which to set aside." Not all criticism is valid, and the Stoic does not blindly accept every rebuke. Instead, they examine it carefully, sifting through the words to find the wisdom, if any, that lies within. This practice of discernment is an act of self-respect. We recognize that while we are open to growth, we are not defined by the judgments of others. We listen with humility, but we respond with wisdom. For the Stoic, the ultimate judge is not external opinion, but internal virtue. As Epictetus advised, keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Criticism belongs to the critic, but how we interpret it is our own affair. Each criticism, then, becomes a chance to reaffirm our purpose. When we choose to respond with silence or calm, we reclaim our inner peace. We recognize that others' opinions are like the passing winds, momentary and fleeting. To the Stoic, criticism is a small thing in the grand expanse of life, a mere whisper in the endless dialogue between the self and the world. It is not the foundation of who we are, but a tool we may use to become who we wish to be. And so, we return to the words of Seneca, who observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How many times have we felt wounded by criticism, only to realize later that the pain was of our own making? The Stoic path is one of freeing ourselves from this self-imposed suffering, of embracing a mind undisturbed by either praise or blame. When we master this, we stand as true philosophers, free from the chains of others' judgments. We become as the warrior in the storm, calm amidst the chaos, drawing strength from within. So, as we walk through life, let us face criticism not with fear or anger, but with the poise of a Stoic. Let us accept it, sift through it, and use it as a means of shaping ourselves into stronger, wiser individuals. The next time someone speaks against us, let us pause, breathe, and remember that we are free, not from criticism itself, but from being bound by it. This is the gift of Stoicism, a mind unchained, a heart undisturbed, a spirit that rises above. As we close, I urge you to carry this thought forward. In the face of criticism, choose stillness, choose strength. Remember, criticism has no power over you unless you grant it. Embrace the path of self-mastery, for in mastering yourself, you master life. Let us strive, not for the approval of others, but for the quiet confidence that only comes from within. And in doing so, we will walk this world as true Stoics, unmoved, undisturbed, and deeply, profoundly free.